If your mind feels scattered, overwhelmed, or constantly chasing the next hit of stimulation, a simple 24-hour reset might help more than you expect. We live in a world that is constantly shouting for our attention, and sometimes, the only way to hear ourselves think again is to turn down the volume. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to talk about a concept that has been floating around the internet for a while, often called a dopamine detox. Now, before you worry that this is some strict medical regimen or a scientific biohack, let me reassure you that it is actually much simpler and more gentle than that. In fact, think of it less as a detox and more as a much-needed holiday for your brain. We are going to explore why your focus feels fragmented, why simple tasks feel harder than they used to, and how taking just one day to unplug can reset your mental baseline. But here is the part most people never realize: this isn't about punishing yourself or living like a monk. It is about rediscovering the joy in the quiet moments that modern life has stolen from us. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the psychology of overstimulation, you will have a practical, stress-free roadmap to feeling calm, clear, and grounded again. To understand why a reset is necessary, we have to look at how our environment shapes our brain's reward system. Experts suggest that our brains were never designed for the level of constant, high-speed stimulation we experience today. Every notification, every infinite scroll, and every fast-paced video triggers a tiny release of dopamine, a chemical messenger involved in pleasure and motivation. In isolation, these are harmless, but when we stack them up, hour after hour, day after day, our brains begin to adapt. Research points to a phenomenon called downregulation, which simply means your brain gets used to the high levels of noise and excitement. So it starts to find normal, quiet life incredibly boring. This is why you might find it difficult to read a book, sit through a movie without checking your phone, or just stand in line at the grocery store without needing a distraction. But here is the surprising part: it's not that you have lost your ability to focus, it's that your brain has been trained to ignore anything that isn't flashy or loud. You aren't broken, you are just overstimulated. Think about that for a moment. When was the last time you did absolutely nothing? I don't mean watching Netflix or listening to a podcast while doing dishes, I mean truly nothing. For many people, the idea of silence is actually anxiety-inducing. We have become uncomfortable with our own thoughts. This discomfort drives us to reach for our phones the second there is a lull in conversation or a commercial break on TV. We are soothing our boredom with digital pacifiers. But this next insight might change how you see boredom forever. Psychologists suggest that boredom is not a defect, it is a vital mental state. It is in the spaces of boredom that our brains process emotions, solve complex problems, and generate creativity. When we constantly drown out the silence with noise, we deprive ourselves of the mental rest we desperately need. A dopamine reset is simply a way to invite that silence back in, allowing your brain's reward system to lower its threshold so that simple things, like a walk outside, a conversation, or a good meal, start to feel satisfying again. So, what does a 24-hour dopamine reset actually look like? The goal is not to eliminate dopamine, because that is biologically impossible and necessary for life, but rather to remove the sources of artificial hyperstimulation. This usually means setting aside a specific day, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, where you turn off the digital noise. No social media, no video games, no binge-watching TV, and no compulsive checking of emails. It sounds daunting, I know, but the rules are not set in stone, they are invitations to rest. The idea is to engage in low dopamine activities. These are things that are slower, require a bit more effort, and don't provide immediate flashing lights or feedback. You might read a physical book, go for a long walk in nature without headphones, journal your thoughts, cook a meal from scratch, or simply sit and watch the clouds. And this is where things get interesting. In the first few hours of this reset, you will likely feel an intense urge to check your phone. You might feel phantom vibrations in your pocket or a sudden spike of boredom that feels like agitation. This is completely normal. It is just your brain asking for its usual quick fix. But here is the part most people miss completely. That agitation you feel isn't a sign that you should stop, it is a sign that the reset is working. If you can sit with that discomfort for a little while, something magical starts to happen. As the hours pass, the mental fog begins to lift. Without the constant barrage of information, your internal clock seems to slow down. Time feels more expansive. You might notice that your anxiety levels drop because you aren't constantly comparing your life to strangers on the internet, or reacting to the urgency of notifications. Many people find that by the afternoon of their reset day, they feel a sense of presence they haven't felt in years. They notice the texture of the leaves on the trees, the taste of their coffee, or the sound of their own breathing. It is as if the color saturation of the real world has been turned up because the artificial glare of the screen has been turned off. This next insight reveals why this practice is so powerful for your mental health. It reconnects you with the effort-reward loop. In the digital world, the reward comes before the effort, you swipe, and you get entertained instantly. In the real world, effort usually comes before the reward. You have to walk to the top of the hill to see the view, or you have to chop the vegetables to get the meal. When you spend 24 hours engaging in these slower activities, you are reminding your brain that doing hard or slow things is worth it. You are recalibrating your patience. This is why, after a reset, people often find they have renewed motivation to tackle big projects, study, or work on their hobbies. They have lowered the noise floor, so the signal of their own goals comes through much clearer. You stop looking for the easy way out and start finding satisfaction in the process itself. However, we need to address a common misconception. A dopamine detox isn't a permanent lifestyle change. You don't have to live like this every day to see the benefits. Think of it like a fasting day or a deep clean for your house. It is a tool you can use whenever you feel that familiar sense of overwhelm creeping back in. Some people do it once a month, others do a light version every Sunday. The key is to approach it with self-compassion. If you slip up and check your phone, don't beat yourself up and abandon the whole day. Just notice it, put the phone away, and come back to the present moment. Perfection is not the goal, awareness is. Even reducing your screen time by 50% for one day can have a profound impact on your mood and focus. And here's the surprising part, many people realize during this process that they don't actually miss the things they thought they were addicted to. They realize that the scrolling wasn't making them happy, it was just keeping them numb. If you've ever wondered why your brain feels tired even when your body isn't, you're not alone, and this practice is the answer to that fatigue. Cognitive exhaustion often comes from the sheer amount of decisions and processing we do every day. Every tweet, every ad, every email requires a microdecision. Do I care about this? Do I like this? Should I reply to this? That burns energy. During your reset day, you are minimizing those decisions. You are giving your executive function a break. This is why you might sleep better that night or wake up the next morning feeling a kind of mental lightness. You have cleared the cache. You have closed the open tabs in your brain that were draining your battery in the background. It is a kindness you do for yourself, a way of saying that your peace of mind matters more than the digital world's demands. But this next part explains why reintegration is just as important as the detox itself. When the 24 hours are over, don't just dive headfirst back into the chaos. Turn your phone on slowly. Check your messages mindfully. You will likely notice how loud and aggressive the digital world feels after a break. Use that contrast to set new boundaries. Maybe you decide to keep notifications off for certain apps, or maybe you decide to implement a no phone in the bedroom rule. The reset gives you the perspective needed to make these changes stick. You are no longer operating on autopilot, you are making conscious choices about what you let into your mind. You realize that you are the gatekeeper of your own attention, and that is an incredibly empowering feeling. And this detail might change how you view your own happiness. We often look for happiness in big achievements or expensive purchases, but a dopamine reset teaches us that happiness is often found in the absence of noise. It is found in the quiet cup of tea, the laughter of a friend, or the feeling of the sun on your face. These things are always there, but we are usually too distracted to feel them. By stripping away the layers of artificial stimulation, you aren't losing anything, you are revealing the richness of the life you already have. You are learning to be a human being again, rather than a human doing or a human scrolling. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your brain is resilient. It wants to heal, and it wants to find balance. It doesn't need a magic pill or a complex therapy to feel better. Sometimes, it just needs you to get out of the way. It needs you to put down the device, step outside, and trust that the world is interesting enough just as it is. A 24-hour dopamine detox isn't about depriving yourself, it's about giving your mind a chance to breathe. And sometimes, a little stillness is the reset you never knew you needed. So, I invite you to try it. Pick a day this week, tell your friends you'll be offline, and see what happens when you let the silence in. If this video brought you some clarity or inspired you to try a reset, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more conversations about living a balanced, meaningful life. Take care of your mind, and I'll see you in the next video.